The following is a short presentation on the Manatee County's Student Growth Value Added Model section of the Teacher Evaluation for teachers of state-tested FSA and Algebra 1 courses. Manatee County School District believes that it is the responsibility of the district and its professional staff to see that students' needs are being met. To ensure student needs are being met, an evaluation system based on educational research is used to evaluate all instructional personnel, improve the quality of instruction, and increase student learning growth. There are three components to Manatee County's teacher evaluation system. The first two components, the Instructional Practice Score, or IPS, and the Professional Development Plan, or PDP, are based on the Danielson Framework for Teaching and Administrator Observations and comprise 50% and 16.7% of a teacher's evaluation, respectively. The third component, which makes up the remaining 33.3% of the evaluation, is based on student learning growth. This presentation provides an overview of the student growth component for teachers of courses assessed by the Florida Standards Assessments and the state's Algebra 1 exams. There are two steps in shaping Manatee County's teacher evaluation system. First, the Florida legislature passes legislation shaping teacher evaluation systems around the state. After the Florida legislature, the Manatee County's Instructional Personnel Assessment Task Force, or IPAT Committee, adjusts the district's evaluation system each year in response to changes from the Florida legislature. The IPAT Committee is made up of administrators and representatives from the Manatee Education Association. There are two major changes impacting 4 through 10 FSA and Algebra 1 teachers this year. First, Algebra 1 teachers now receive a state VAM ratings. Second, in the past, the district has had some leeway with assigning ratings from state VAM scores, but starting with the 2015 to 2016 school year, the state is setting the cut scores for all teachers receiving ratings from the state VAM model. Throughout this presentation, all major changes to the evaluation system will be marked with a pile of change. So how do you know if you got a state VAM rating? If you teach any of the following subject areas, your student growth rating, or at least part of it, probably comes from the Florida Department of Education, or FLDOE. Math, grades 4 through 8, English Language Arts, grades 4 through 10, Algebra 1. For teachers whose students take the statewide 4th through 8th grade FSA Math, 4th through 10th grade FSA Reading, or Algebra 1 exams, the student growth portion of the teacher evaluation comes from the state's Value Added Model, or VAM. So what is a state VAM rating? The state's Value Added Model compares students to similar students all over the state of Florida using student test scores from the previous years to match them with students around the state. Take, for example, Emmett. Emmett is matched with other Emmets around the state based on a variety of characteristics, including previous test scores, ELL status, gifted status, attendance, and class size. Once all these similar students are identified, the scores for the students are averaged together to create a predicted score for Emmets around the state. If we look at the possible range of scores, and a student's actual score is greater than the predicted score, this will increase the teacher's VAM. If a student's actual score is less than the predicted score, this will decrease the teacher's VAM. Going back to Emmett, if Emmett's actual score is less than Emmett's predicted score, then Emmett has a negative effect on his teacher's VAM value. On the other hand, if Emmett's actual score is greater than Emmett's predicted score, then Emmett has a positive effect on his teacher's VAM value. To calculate a teacher's VAM value, the values for all the students are aggregated into the teacher's VAM value. If most of the students have actual scores greater than their predicted scores, the teacher will have a positive VAM value. Alternatively, if most of the students have actual scores less than their predicted scores, the teacher will have a negative VAM value. Once the state calculates teacher VAM values, the state uses those values to assign VAM effectiveness ratings to teachers. The state uses 4 rating categories to evaluate teachers: highly effective, effective, needs improvement, and unsatisfactory. 3 things are needed for the state to assign a VAM rating: a VAM value for each teacher, a 68% confidence interval for each teacher, and a 95% confidence interval for each teacher. So what is a confidence interval? A confidence interval provides a range of plausible values for the population mean or, in this case, a teacher's value added. If you want to learn more about confidence intervals, watch this short video from the Statistics Learning Center. The FLDOE classifies a teacher as highly effective if the teacher's VAM value and 95% confidence interval are both greater than the statewide average of 0. So if both a teacher's VAM value and a teacher's 95% confidence interval are greater than 0, the FLDOE will classify the teacher as highly effective. The FLDOE classifies a teacher as unsatisfactory if the teacher's VAM value and the teacher's 95% confidence interval are both less than 0. So if both a teacher's VAM value and a teacher's 95% confidence interval are less than 0, the FLDOE will classify the teacher as unsatisfactory. The FLDOE classifies a teacher as needs improvement if the teacher's VAM value and 68% confidence interval are both less than 0, but some of the 95% confidence interval is above 0. So if both a teacher's VAM value and the 68% confidence interval are less than 0, but some part of the teacher's 95% confidence interval is above 0, the FLDOE will classify the teacher as needs improvement. There are 3 different scenarios where the FLDOE classifies a teacher as effective. First, if a teacher's VAM value is equal to 0, that teacher will be classified as effective. Second, if a teacher's VAM value is greater than 0 and only some of their 95% confidence interval is less than 0, that teacher will be classified as effective. Third, if a teacher's VAM value is less than 0 and some part of both their 95% and 68% confidence intervals is above 0, that teacher will be classified as effective. The first scenario where the FLDOE would classify a teacher as effective is the simplest. If the teacher's VAM value is equal to 0, that teacher is classified as effective. So, if a teacher's VAM value is equal to 0, the FLDOE will classify the teacher as effective. For the second effective scenario, if a teacher's VAM value is greater than 0 and some part of the 95% confidence interval is below 0, the FLDOE would classify the teacher as effective. So, if a teacher's VAM value is greater than 0, and some part of the 95% confidence interval is below 0, the FLDOE will classify the teacher as effective. For the third effective scenario, and some part of both the 95% and 65% confidence intervals is above 0, the FLDOE would classify the teacher as effective. So if a teacher's VAM value is less than 0, and some part of both the 95% and 68% confidence intervals is above 0, the FLDOE will classify the teacher as effective. If a teacher teaches multiple subject areas that are tested and used for student growth or VAM ratings, the ratings from all of those subject areas are combined into a final student growth rating using a weighted average. For example, if a teacher receives a state VAM rating of 3 based on 60 student tests and a 5th grade science student growth rating based on 40 student tests, there would be a total of 100 student tests associated with that teacher. In this example, the state VAM rating would be 60 divided by 100, or 60% of this teacher's final rating. So the state VAM rating of 3 times 60 divided by 100 is 1.8. The 5th grade science student growth rating would be 40 divided by 100, or 40% of this teacher's final rating. So the 5th grade sciences student growth rating of 4 times 40 divided by 100 is 1.6. 1.8 plus 1.6 gives this teacher a final student growth rating of 3.4. Finally, the 2015-2016 agreement with the union is applied to the final student growth ratings. If the teacher's final student growth rating is less than effective, or 2.5, then the average of 2.5 and the final student growth rating is calculated. And that value is used as the teacher's new final student growth rating. For more information on the Manatee County Evaluation System, you can visit the Manatee Education Association's website at the link below.